Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a fitness guru from India, Shwetambari Shetty. Shweta, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel privileged to be on your show. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
I'm looking forward.
Thank you. Shweta is a fitness expert at Cult.fit. She was the co-founder of Tribe Fitness Club. And as a lot of you know, I'm very partial to authors. So she's an author, and we'll talk a little bit about her book as well. So Shweta, let's talk about fitness. And before we get into any more details, tell me, what is the meaning of fitness?
I mean, it can be made extremely complex sometimes, but to me, and what I really talk about, even to the people that I connect with, is fitness is just general preparedness for life, right? It's about aging gracefully. And when you have to prepare yourself for the life ahead of you, which is so unknown, physically, mentally, emotionally, every way it's so unknown, right? You just have to be strong. And fitness gives you not just physical strength, but it also gives you some amount of mental and emotional strength. And this is my personal experience. And then secondly, of course, who doesn't want to age gracefully, right? None of us really want to have any niggles or injuries or health issues after the age of, like, say, 70 and etc., right? And typically when you don't take good care of yourself, these lifestyle issues, lifestyle diseases, or something or the other keeps coming up. And I've seen my parents go through it as well, despite being extremely active. So for me, I have understood, especially over the years, that it is really just being prepared for life, being strong and just aging gracefully.
Wonderful, wonderful. And, let's talk a little bit about Cult.fit, and then we'll get into more details. But for a lot of our viewers and listeners who are probably aware of Cult.fit, because we saw some amazing advertising a few years ago, what is the scope of work that you handle there?
Ashutosh, when we started Cult.fit, right, which is back in 2016, actually, late 16, we had like one or two centers, okay? And today we are 200 plus centers across multiple cities, right? And me and another colleague, the two of us, were completely responsible for the entire fitness, managing the entire fitness portfolio for Cult, right? And that's how Cult started. It started just with fitness. I mean, it was earlier Cure Fit, and then came the Eat Fit and Mind Fit and everything else. So from two centers, of course, we were not responsible to physically expand the number of, Cult centers or buildings, but right from hiring, we have like over 2,000 trainers right now, hiring to creating every single module of the classes and the exercises that get conducted at Cult, and like training the entire team, getting accreditation for these courses which we have built in-house. All of that was our responsibility. Right. So we were going to places like Shillong to run camps, hiring camps, because we did realize that people there are, strong, they have an affinity to fitness, and they want to make this a career. So Guwahati, Shillong, like so many different places. So hiring was our core, and we wanted to hire passionate people and not, just people from other gyms or people who are already trainers. Of course, they were also welcome. But we realized that I built this profession on passion. My colleague also built that on passion. So we said, we will just get a lot of passionate people together for this project. And that's when, it will really become a strong, powerful project, right? That's exactly what happened. So we went across the country, we hired, we trained, we even did language teaching, because a lot of our trainers came, especially the boxing fraternity, right? They don't speak great English. And we also did a lot of, language coaching, communication. And today, all of these trainers are, so strong, so confident, very independent. So our core role is really the managing the entire fitness portfolio. And
Amazing.
of course, after fitness, now we have multiple other things at Cult. But that's where it all started. And I feel very proud that I've been there from the beginning. And we literally built that whole place from scratch.
Fabulous, fabulous. And before you moved, came into Cult, you had your own venture called Tribe Fitness Club. Tell me, I have two separate questions, but what is Tribe Fitness?
Hmm. So it's my first baby, if I have to, and it was very emotional when I had to let go. But um, honestly, I never really had any idea of building something like Tribe Fitness. And the name itself was like, we called it Tribe because we wanted to create a very strong community, a tribe of, people who love fitness, who love, focusing on their health, who love doing things outdoor, who like just exercising together, which is why we call it Tribe. But it was a fitness center which focused on making fitness fun. So we know that it is very niche. Fitness itself is quite niche and it's a luxury, right? Like only in the last few years, we see a lot of people taking to fitness quite seriously. Otherwise, people join the gym, drop off, and we saw that was a trend. Nobody really committed to becoming healthy and fit. So we said, what if we make it fun? Will people then stick? Will people keep coming back? And that's exactly what happened, Ashutosh. Everybody who joined our club from year one to year three until we did the acquisition happen, they stuck with us, right? We didn't have to remind them of the membership the renewal. We didn't have to do anything. It was word of mouth. It picked up like magic because everybody loved the group exercise workouts. So we were no equipment, no gym, no machines, right? So Tribe was just group exercise. So you had strength training, you had cardio training, you had yoga, you had dance, you had cycling, all of that, but zero machines. So we said, you know what, you don't need machines to be fit. You can just ensure you have, you just bring yourself into the center. You have a trainer that teaches you everything, and you have a great number of people around you who will motivate you and push you to get to your goal. And that was it. It was a strong community. And I think that community through word of mouth became very successful, which ultimately, of course, resulted in, people looking to acquire us and things like that.
Fantastic. And you just mentioned it was an emotional moment, but how did you feel when you actually sold and became a part of a much larger organization?
Yeah. Truth be told, I have never been wanting to be a part of anything mass, right? I was, when I had started my career as a fitness trainer, I used to do different classes through the day. And I was very happy doing it, jumping from one locality in Bangalore to another, teaching a group of 30, 40 people and being extremely satisfied by the end of the class. And I said, this is what I want to do, change people's lives. But then when Tribe happened, then it was like a step up. I was like, okay, now we're going slightly mass. We're going to get hundreds of people into the club. So then, of course, there was, focus on, getting a loan and this and that, all that happened. But ultimately, when you feel like, okay, this is it, I have 3 centers now, and let me just work with this for many years to come, comes an opportunity. And then you're like, what do I do with this opportunity? It's so tempting, but at the same time, deep inside, I'm saying, no, you know what? This is my blood and sweat and everything. So I don't want to. And I have never done this for money. So now the acquisition is, of course, making the business bigger, larger. There is a lot of money involved. It was all exciting. It took me a long time to decide that I can do this. Ultimately, I made up my mind because I realized if today I could target hundreds of people and change the lives of hundreds of people with Cult, I will be able to reach out to millions of people because that was the goal. And then I sat down and said to myself, you know what? This is what I want to do, change people's lives. And that's why I changed my career from being a banker to a fitness trainer. So why am I holding myself back? And so I just like, let's do this. It's okay if we go mass, and that's what our country needs to get fitter. So I'll do my bit.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, most people are now becoming quite conscious of fitness. And on a lighter note, I've often said, when I was much younger, I also could afford to buy a treadmill and I had one at home, and my children have it in their homes. And I joke with a lot of people saying the treadmill at home is probably the most expensive towel drying rack that you can find, because
Yes.
that's what it ultimately ends up being used for, because nobody exercises. But tell me, as a fitness expert or a fitness guru, how do I determine what is my right fitness regime?
Yeah. Great question there, Ashutosh, because I think today I'll tell you we're in a space where through social media, right, a lot of the fitness, trainers and coaches and influencers speak about a lot of things fitness.
Hmm.
Sometimes there's some contradiction, sometimes there's too much information, right? And the user ultimately gets confused, right? Okay, what is the right thing for me? Um, Honestly, I have really learned about fitness and well-being and health from my parents before anyone else, right? Of course, I've got the bookish knowledge, but I've understood that for any human being to be fit and healthy, movement is essential, right? What we've done to ourselves in the last decade or two, or probably even more, is we've removed that important element of movement from our daily lives because we sit like this in front of laptop for long hours, right? Because all of us have that typical job of sitting in front of a desktop or laptop or anything, of phone, etc. So my advice to everybody who's listening is do not make fitness and healthy living complex. Of course, I run gyms, I run fitness clubs. So I would always promote that and tell people to come into the gyms. But I will never, ever tell people to force people to go into the gym. So I will always start by saying, walk more often,
Okay.
right? If you can incorporate walking often, and when I say walking often, is get up and move every hour or two. Move for 5 minutes, move for 10 minutes, because your body is designed to move, right? If it was designed to be sitting on a chair, you wouldn't have an ankle joint, you wouldn't have a knee joint because it is useless,
Well
right?
said. Hmm.
But we're made this way because we're supposed to be moving more often. So the whole concept of this 10,000 step, 12,000 steps, this is a recent phenomena. And the reason why it has come about is it's basically telling people that you really need to get to that many steps. My father, by 8:30 in the morning, Ashutosh, has already done 12,000 steps, right? Because he wakes up at like 4:35 in the morning, goes for his long walks, and that's how he's been able to curb, or
Correct.
rather even control, his diabetes and lots of other issues. So do not make fitness complex. Start with the basic that your body is capable of doing. You don't need to, really spend a lot of money on expensive gyms or trainers. All of that is important at a later
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But start with walking more often. Do what your body is naturally capable of doing. A step above or step, after moving often is do a nice cardio workout for 30 minutes, every alternate day or every day. Pick up some strength training. It could be body weight or weight training, because strength training just helps with your bone density, bone mass, and muscle mass. And these are the two things you want to focus on when you're aging, right? As you age, your muscle mass and your bone mass deteriorates. So to maintain at a good level and to avoid injuries, then you actually end up doing some strength training. And your cardio and etc., to keep your heart healthy, to keep your respiratory healthy, and to overall also ensure that your every 6 months that blood test that you do, all your markers, health markers, are normal, are green, and not like abnormal, above range, below range. All of these are the reason why you should exercise. So keep it simple, don't make it complex. Start with walking more often.
Wonderful. What a fabulous answer. And, a follow on question from that is that there is so much of a data overload on nutrition along with exercise. How does the common individual determine, you know, do I need to take supplements? What kind of supplements? Do I need vitamins? Do I need pills? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I know this overload of every information right now, thanks to, quick searches
Yeah,
available.
yeah.
But very true, Ashutosh. I think we've confused our food as well heavily.
Mm,
Again, I'll go back to being extremely simple. simple. What I've learned, I've gone through a journey of weight loss after postpartum. I've gone through the journey of being extremely strong, being able to do really heavy lifting. I've not drastically changed what I eat. I've not modernized what I eat. I've kind of stuck to culturally what I've grown up eating. Of course, I eat other cuisines. Of course, I like oatmeal, which is not a part of my cuisine. But my go-to is always what I have grown up eating culturally, right? I'm from the south of India and from, Mangalore, and I eat a lot of idli, dosa, coconut chutney, boiled rice, which is grown in our fields, so high quality, has some protein, dals and vegetables and fish, from coast, so a lot of fish happens. And it's worked wonderful for me from a strength perspective, from being healthy, from keeping all my macros and micros and minerals and vitamins in check. So I would say focus on eating seasonal, focus on eating what you've eaten culturally, because your body kind of has gotten used to that, right? You can make changes, of course, like I spoke about the oatmeal, or I'm talking about a salad. But do you need such a drastic change to achieve any fitness goal? Honestly, in my opinion, no. What you need to change, even with your own food that you've grown up eating, is try to reduce the salt, try to reduce the oil, or probably minimize it to zero. It's possible, right? Like I've experimented food with literally zero oil and it's possible, but you can take a little bit, it's no big deal. But if you can make that, like for example, in the north of India, if a lot of people eat aloo paratha, there's no problem with aloo as such. It's good for you. Potato is good for you. The problem is the way it's made, right? The amount of excess oil or butter and everything that goes into it. So eat what you are culturally, used to, what you've grown up eating. Just look at the quantity and look at all the oil and the fried factors that go in, the sugar factors, reduce all of that, and you're in good place, right? Uh, the only other problem I think we in India face is that we are slightly a carb dense country, right? But the interesting thing to know is that Japan actually eats more carbs than India, right? But we've all seen Japanese, like how they are. They're also very active. They walk a lot, but their food is also low on salt, or rather zero salt, right? It's a lot of steamed and stuff like that, and a lot of vegetables and a lot of fish and raw food and etc., which our food isn't. India food is carb dense, but again, we heavily cook it, we heavily masalafy it and all of that. So food tip for everybody is focus on what you've grown up eating. Look at that, okay? Culturally, seasonally, look at all of that food, and ensure that on a plate your rice doesn't get overpowered, right? Your rice is the smallest one, and everything else should overpower the rice. Your dal, your sabzi, your salad. That is the mantra, right? That's what I have followed. If you look at my plate, my rice is this much, fistful, and my vegetables and my dals are like literally two bowls, right? And that not only keeps you full, it helps you with goals like weight loss, it helps you with goals like strength, it keeps your gut very healthy. It does the magic. So, yeah, nothing very different. Stick to culture, season, and look at your plate and ensure you have your carbs, fat, and protein. And we've got enough options of that. And yeah, just ensure you remove the sugars, fried, and the junk, and everything is fine. Yeah, don't make it complex. Don't make it complex. Yeah. And also quickly just touching upon the supplements, we all need supplements only if we don't eat a variety of food, which means if you don't eat enough vegetables and enough fruits, which is a lot of variety, then you'll find the need to supplement, because your minerals and vitamins in the body is deteriorating. But if you get everything in the form of food, and over the week, if you're eating different colors, then you may not even need those supplements. But before you take supplements, consult a qualified nutritionist or your doctor.
Okay.
Very
Well
important.
said. Well said. So one more question relating to fitness before I move to your book. How important is yoga as a part of our daily fitness regime?
Well, I think it's something that you can incorporate every single day with another exercise or without any other exercise, right? I remember doing yoga at the age of 6 with my father, because he would finish his morning jog, go up to the terrace and do his yoga for like 20-30 minutes, and I would join him for that. So it's not a discipline that I have, given myself lessons in, but we have it at Cult. I have done a lot of sessions myself, and I believe it does tremendous amount of good for you, right? So it focuses on strength, of course. It focuses on flexibility and mobility. Now, we spoke about strength and cardio a lot over the last few minutes, right? But not touched upon flexibility and mobility. Now, your body is naturally extremely flexible and has the mobility it needs, like your ankle joint, knee joint, hip joint, shoulder joint, right? It has all the mobility. And even right from the time you see your, toddlers and etc., the way they sit in a deep squat, all of this, as we grow, we lose it. Why? Correct. Because we don't get that mobility and flexibility in the body is not maintained. Honestly, if you maintain it, you will be able to do it even at 75. Because if you go to rural India, you will still see very elderly women of 80 and 85 sitting in a deep squat as a position of rest, right? Now, we don't do that because of lack of activity. Now, yoga, building in every day or every alternate day into your schedule, can not only give you strength and a great workout, but it can keep your flexibility, which is the muscle length, right? Flexibility going, and it can keep mobility of the joints also going strong for a long time. What does this ultimately mean for you? It means you will be free of injuries for a long time. Because the moment you deteriorate the joint's ability to move and the muscle's ability to flex, right, you are restricting the body from doing what it naturally can do, which is why you end up hurting yourself, right? So incorporating yoga can keep you very safe from injuries for a long time, especially if you're otherwise doing a lot of lifting and cardio and stuff. Yoga can be great to complement it on a daily basis. It can also be another it's a workout that a lot of people I know also incorporate in the evenings just before dinner. So they then do their dinner and then get to bed, right? Like wait for about an hour or something and get to bed. But what they tell me is that yoga helps them just calm and become calm and actually gets them some good sleep. So there are multiple reasons why one should incorporate yoga, strength, flexibility, mobility, a great workout, a great stretch, fabulous for recovery after a heavy lifting day. Yeah, yoga's for everyone.
Fantastic. So now I have time only to ask you about your book. And I would love to talk about Get Moving. I mean, tell me about this book. What got you to write it?
Honestly, Ashutosh, I never would have thought, I could write. I still don't think, and I'm not a writer. Okay, this is me being very honest with you. Fitness is something that I'm passionate about. Getting people to move is what I'm passionate about. Making people healthy is what I love. So when Penguin approached me and said, we want you to write a book for us about fitness. I know there are a lot of other books on fitness, right? A lot of good books out there that people can read. I just told them, look, there's only one thing that I would, be able to write from my heart, and that would be about movement, because it's something that I have learned from my parents, from my ancestors, from my family, because I belong to a village, right, called Kundapur, which is further down Mangalore. And we are people who are, who have, farmlands, and we have like these not so dense forests and managing, taking care of all the trees and the plantations. So we come from that kind of a background, So movement and certain things that we do on a daily basis comes naturally to us. And that's what has helped us be very, very strong and fit for a long time. Like for example, my grandmother is 96 and she walks and she sees clearly and everything. My grandfather is, cycles even at 85, independent. So all of this I've noticed has been possible because they have moved very often all their life and eaten, simple foods. So I told Penguin that if I have to write something, I'm not going to make it complex. I need to just write about very, very simple stuff so that anyone, okay, anyone who's never even, read about fitness or even gone to a gym, picks up this book for whatever reason and reads it, they will be able to understand how simple healthy living and fitness can be.
Wow.
And they were completely on board with the idea. So I said yes. And which is why, Ashutosh, we named the book Get Moving, because that's like my core philosophy, right? Like, keep moving, walk more often. And honestly, my 1-year-old daughter lives up to it completely right now. But that was the only reason I said okay, because Penguin said, you know what, we want you to write what you feel honestly, from your heart, and also a little bit about your journey, because your journey does inspire, women, especially around our country, especially coming from a middle class family. It's been very tough, but you go past the tough. So I happily did it, and it's a very simple book. If you read it, you'll be like, I think you'll finish it in 1 hour.
No, but and it's available on Amazon for people who are viewing and listening to us in case they want to buy it.
Yes, okay. It is. Okay. It is. It's a simple book.
Okay. Terrific.
Basics of what you can do at home.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Shweta, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for this incredible amount of knowledge you have given me, and I'm sure to all our viewers and listeners, on fitness and nutrition. I mean, I've learned so many new things, and I thought I was reasonably fit at 64, but I've got many more things to do now that I've spoken to you. Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh, for having me over. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.